we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen.
What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Shroopies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go.
I am entertained every time I watch that introduction. I had nothing to do with putting it together. Chris, our producer, put that together over the summer, beginning of summer, and every time I feel like I see something I haven't seen before. It's just funny. So if you've been watching the show, maybe you've seen some of the episodes with some of those people that were part of the interviews in that intro. Some really good shows in there. Well, good afternoon. My name is Ben. Lancaster Connects is the show. Lancaster Connects is a show that highlights great things and great people going on in Lancaster County. I should say great people doing great things in Lancaster County. So we highlight nonprofits and charitable organizations, organizations helping the city and the county. One of those we'll have on today. And also small businesses that make an impact in the community as well. As you can see, I'm flying solo today. Jeffrey and his wife, Stephanie, I believe it's their anniversary this weekend or was this past weekend, and they're out of town enjoying some time together, so I hope they're having a great time. I'm holding down the fort here at Lancaster Connects. Of course, we are broadcasting live right now in our studio here at Gardner's Mattress & More, the business that Jeff and I own together and have owned together for the last 13 years. Of course, Gardner's has been around since 1990 in Lancaster, and currently we're right across the street from Park City Mall. So the mall might be super, super busy over the next couple weeks, but we also have sales and things going on all the time. So if you're going over to the mall to do some holiday shopping, pop over here, see what we got available. Pillows and sheets actually do make great Christmas gifts. So if you got some hard to buy for people, pillows and sheets make a great gift there. So I wanted to highlight our sponsor for December. We've started with sponsors in October. We had Whiff Roasters as a sponsor for October. We had Vanscoy, Maurer and Bash, our great jewelry store neighbors next door. Holiday gifts, right? Coffee, jewelry. This month's sponsor is Lancaster Gift Box. See their website, lancastergiftbox.com. Also a great idea for last minute Christmas gifts. Like literally today, we are 2 weeks away from Christmas. So if you're like, last minute shopper, need some gifts for some hard to buy for people on your list, Lancaster Gift Box would be a great place to go. You can order online and they can ship to you. Now, of course, we are getting again, 2 weeks from Christmas. So I don't know if they can ship that quickly to you, but they do have a store downtown on the 300 block of Queen Street, North Queen Street. They're right there in Lancaster. You see the address 317 North Queen Street. They have their gift boxes and plenty of other items available in their shop on the 300 block of North Queen Street. So lots of great items. In fact, there on the screen is their Taste of Lancaster gift box. Everything that's in the gift box and the items they have for sale in their showroom are locally sourced. So whether that's a food item or crafts or other things, I mean, just look at some of the things that are in these gift boxes. Ham and pretzels. I think you got Stroopies in there, some local cheese and whatnot. So lots of good goodies in there. I'll just read this. They make it easy to share a luxurious Taste of Lancaster County with friends and clients nationwide. You see a picture of the Taste of Lancaster box right there. They have a commitment to supporting local food producers and makers, and they curate signature gift boxes that capture the local flavors of Lancaster County. So, if you're a resident of Lancaster County, and you want a taste of your surroundings, that's great. But, these gifts make great for, let's say you have somebody that likes to travel to Lancaster, every once in a while, or, you have family out of town or people that, live a couple states away. And they're curious about the the things going on in Lancaster, the taste of Lancaster, this would make a great gift to send to people that live further away. And Lancaster Gift Box, they also specialize in corporate gifting. So if you're a corporation that needs to purchase gifts for people in your network, they make it really, really easy for corporate gifting. So visit them, Lancaster Gift Box. Also mention a contest we are giving away. They graciously donated, Lancaster Gift Box did, a Taste of Lancaster gift box to us, $66 value. Look, we're already up to 142 entries for this week, or for this month's contest. We've got another week to go. We're going to announce a winner on next Monday's show. You got a lot of cool things in there, like I mentioned, the pretzels, the stroopies, the honey mustard, the cheddar cheese, all local stuff in there. All you got to do is go to lancasterconnects.com/contest, subscribe to the email list, and then once you do that, name and email, then you'll have a few other ways to enter. You can subscribe to the podcast, audio podcast. You can like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. So super, super simple ways to enter, 4 different ways. In fact, you could enter the contest. And again, we're going to draw a winner next Monday. So thank you to Lancaster Gift Box for generously donating that gift and being our sponsor for December. All right, business out of the way. Our guest today is a friend from a long time ago, part of a marketing world that we were part of and still kind of dabble in. We met Danielle, it's probably like 10 years ago now. And Danielle wears 2 hats. Hello, Danielle. How are you?
Hello.
Danielle wears a couple of hats. She is first the executive director of the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County. And we're going to talk about all of the great things that the Historic Preservation Trust does. And she also has her own business with her husband, Jonathan, Keperling Preservation Services. So Danielle, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I think it might even be more than 10 years.
So it might be
a while. Yeah.
Well, it's good to connect with you again. And I'm really excited to have you on because preserving Lancaster is, I think, really important, and I'm sure you feel that way as well. I know there's big pushes to preserve farmland, and of course the buildings of Lancaster that have a ton of history. But first, before we get into kind of the things that you do, I want to know: are you a Lancaster native yourself?
I am not. My husband is.
Okay.
So my Lancaster connection to my dad's side of the family, or at least the Groshongs, landed in Lancaster County in about 1750, and within a generation they were in Missouri, and then they went west on the Oregon Trail. So
this is your family?
Yes, that's my family.
So they came to Lancaster and left
within a generation.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but my dad's brother, my Uncle Carl, met a woman from Lancaster County when he was when they were in college, and ended up moving here. And then my dad was working with him, so we moved out here. So we moved in '89. So that was the summer I turned 11. And so I've lived here most of my life, but I'm not according to the Lancaster rules, I'm not a native Lancastrian.
Yeah, and you kind of grew up in the preservation industry.
I did.
Is that correct? Like it was a family business.
Yeah. So it was a family business. My dad, when we moved here, he was doing modern construction, framing and building cabinets and different things like that. So, but then he fell in love with the architecture and started to work just exclusively on older buildings. And Saturday mornings, and when he was going to work, I would go into the shop with him. So I grew up. That was our dinner conversation. So I definitely come by it naturally.
That's cool. So yeah, that was a question I wanted to ask you. Like, so you're the executive director. We're going to find out all the cool things that the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster does. But like, where did you get your passion for preserving buildings? And like, did it come from being part of the family business?
I think that it did. I always loved history. But when I was in high school, this was not my dream. And talking to other preservationists, most people don't, initially go into preservation as like the first thought that they have. Same
can be said with mattresses. Mattresses are not like, you go to school or your high school, college, whatever, and then you're like, I'm going to do mattresses. Like, people don't do that. So
Right.
it's
Yeah,
probably
so
it's like what everybody, people go in different paths. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
they
Go
do.
ahead.
They do.
I
So yeah,
interrupted you.
so all through high school, I was going to, I was going to be a social worker. That's what I was going to do. And my senior year, I had I graduated from Lancaster Catholic, so I had all of my credits, but my religion credit and my English credit. So, and I had to fill up the rest of my day. So I spent the rest of my day in the whole entire social studies wing, like all day long. Like
Oh, wow.
I took all the history classes that were electives that I could, because that's what I enjoyed. But then I ended up, like March of my senior year, my parents were not real thrilled with me. I decided that I was going to go to culinary school.
Okay.
And so I did that. And I worked in a bakery for several years. And then, my husband and I by then had gotten married, and Jonathan was already working for my dad. He had started working for my dad
Okay.
a couple years before we got married.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, well, I'm working at a small family business. I don't think there's really any room for me to go anywhere else. And my dad's like, I've been waiting for this moment. Come work for us. So I did,
cool.
pretty much as a glorified secretary.
Okay.
And I learned what I needed to about running the business, and I went back to school, and I did get a master's degree in management. But I started out in the family business at the bottom, and learned. It was a lot of on the job training, and then some schooling in business.
So this is cool. I think in my mind we were going to talk maybe about the preservation trust first, but and then the family business second. But I like how we're going here. I want to learn more about your involvement in the family business and what they did, because that, I think, fueled your position as being executive director. So can you expand on that a little bit more? Like, talk about the types of things that your father and projects that he did, and buildings that he might have preserved in Lancaster and even beyond. And then again, talk about how this kind of fueled your passion for preservation of buildings.
Yeah. So my probably the most famous building that we've restored was the Peterson House across from Ford's Theater. So that's the house that President Lincoln died in.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so we restored that. There was a big push maybe 10-ish years ago to preserve sites that were related to the Civil War because of the anniversary coming up. So we had several Civil War related projects, but that was probably our most famous. But it's the buildings and the built environment. Those are like touchstones to history, and if we don't preserve those, we lose it. So that's really my big, my reason for wanting to preserve things.
Yeah. So, you transitioned. I think your parents retired a number of years ago, and you and your husband Jonathan now have Keperling Preservation Services.
Correct.
Do you preserve buildings in Lancaster County or beyond? Obviously, Ford Theater, I believe, is in Washington, D.C. Yeah.
So we say Mid-Atlantic, and we do have some projects local, but we go where the buildings are, because that's
sure. Yeah.
They
can't come to you.
But what is nice is that we do have a shop, so we can, build, restore things, make new if we need to, windows and doors or millwork, and then actually take it back to the job site to install. So we're not away all the time.
So what does that process look like? So, there's a building that needs to be restored. Are you going back and researching, like looking at old pictures, talking to people that have been in the home or building or whatever it is? Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah, it really depends on the person's goals. But if they want to restore something back, like in Strasburg, several years ago, we rebuilt the wraparound porch on what was the Iron Horse Inn. I think it's now a different use. And we used postcards from the turn of the century to to replicate that porch because it had been taken off in the 50s. So yeah, there are times when we when we use pictures and photos. We do research, and we try to find out, because even regionally there's some differences architecture wise. So to learn how things were done in certain areas is also important. The basics and the fundamentals are the same, but there's just a little bit of differences and variations.
So, that project you were just talking about in Strasbourg, where you had to tear off something and rebuild do you ever like get into a project and start deconstructing and taking things apart and like find cool things that have been like hidden over in history or over time?
Yeah, well, there was in Elizabethtown, there was a log cabin, and nobody knew it was a log cabin. But once we're taking the siding off, and then like the whole project stopped, and they were like, no, the people who own the house were like, we want to restore the logs. We don't want to recover them up. But that was very common because the log was like the first building that was built on a site. And then as the people got money, or, they covered it up because they didn't want to live in a log house. So, it's funny how things become, fashionable again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would think that would be like an exciting part of the the job to preserve a building, is like, what other history does nobody know about? Right. That's part of that building that you're renovating. So, is there like a preservation product that sticks out in your project that sticks out in your head as being like your favorite, or one that you just was kind of like the end result was just like leaps and bounds beyond what you thought it might be?
Oh, that's a good question. I think every project probably has its like favorite features because
Sure.
it's they're all unique, and especially building relationships with our clients, and those things are important. But I think the projects where we get to be a little bit creative, where it's not, it is preservation, it is traditional building, but then we get to add a little bit of flair to it. I think that those are fun. The one that I'm thinking about is a kitchen in Old Town, and the homeowner and I really got along well, and she loved my taste in hardware, so I got to go crazy in the hardware store, and I didn't have to hear about the bill.
Right. That's interesting. You talk about the relationships, like with what we do, mattresses, a relationship selling a mattress might be a few hours, right, might be a few minutes, might be a few days or weeks, but like a relationship with a client that's preserving a building or an old home, you're talking months, maybe even years, right? To see a project from beginning to end. That's really cool that you get to build those relationships.
It is. And there's usually a low point when like everything's torn apart, and like the homeowner's like, is this ever going to go back together? Like,
what have I done?
Yeah. You have to help people through that. So, it's a little bit of counseling, but then once it's done, people forget that. Like, people forget that they had that reaction.
Right. That's when you get out the initial drawings and what the finished product is going to look like. Don't worry. It'll get here.
We will get there. We've done this before, it's okay.
Yep. So, Danielle, you're the executive director of the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County. Yes. Tell us what that is.
So, what the Preservation Trust is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we are the only county-wide organization that advocates and educates for historic preservation of architectural resources in the county. And we were started in the 1960s. To help stem the tide of all the urban renewal, all the demolition that was going on. So our headquarters is at 123 North Prince Street, and it's right beside the parking garage on the corner of Prince and Orange. And they had wanted to tear down our building to build that parking garage. Now the parking garage is like an L around us because the people who started the Preservation Trust got together to save it.
Okay, so that's interesting. So the Preservation Trust got together to stop growth is maybe not the right word. Obviously, communities need to grow and to thrive. But there's maybe right and wrong ways to do it. And especially when you're talking about these historic buildings, you don't just tear down a row of houses and put up a parking garage.
Right.
And,
That's what they were
I mean,
doing.
you're never getting those places back.
Right.
And especially when you're talking about a town. I mean, Lancaster was founded in the 1700s or early
I
1700s.
think it's early 1700s. 1719 is the number that came. No, that's too early. But it's in the 1720s.
Yeah. So I mean, there's buildings that have 300 plus years of history, which is just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the trust sets out to find these situations and kind of go in between and mediate.
We do that in some cases where we will, try to appeal to the homeowner, try to appeal to the municipality, try to get everybody to come up with a solution that's positive for everybody involved. We also, help to educate people on why preservation is important. So, and usually once people learn about it, because oftentimes the common reaction is that, they're just telling me what I can do with my own building, and it's, the private property rights. But that's not our goal. Our goal is just to help people, make good decisions for their buildings.
I got you. And how did you become involved?
So, maybe close to 5 years ago now. So part of what I do at Keperling Preservation Services is consulting. And so they had asked if I would be a preservation consultant at the trust. I had been a former board member. I had volunteered, I'm active in the preservation community. So it was they knew me. And, they asked if I would be the preservation consultant. I did that for a few years. And then, they asked if I would, extend my role into executive director. So, and that was 2 Augusts ago. So a little bit over 2 years ago.
That's great.
And it's really a good fit for what we do, what I do professionally, both places. And it's a way to make a bigger impact. We do a building or two at a time, where this is, I can go out and, help a municipality make decisions that will impact, a whole area.
So when, forgive me for not knowing how it works. So like when you identify a building that's in need of preservation, is there any funding that comes through the Preservation Trust to that project, or you help navigate to the company that can do that preservation? How does that work?
So usually I will, the Preservation Trust as an organization does not provide funding, but we do have resources that we can connect people with depending on the type of project. There's not a lot of funding for private like property owners, but there is funding for businesses and nonprofits. So I can make those connections.
Got you. So if you're a nonprofit in a historic building that's in need of some sort of renovation, preservation, whatever, you can help connect them to funding that would help with that project.
Yes.
Very cool. What are some of the biggest misconceptions or myths about preservation that you've encountered?
We had a, I guess it was almost 2 years ago now, or maybe 3 years ago. We had an illegal demolition in the northern part of Lancaster County, and the municipality actually called us to tell us and ask us what to do. And I'm like, I don't have, we went and had the meeting. We gave them, the suggestions on how to mitigate it, but they thought that we had like enforcement power, that we could come in and like make people do things. And I think a lot of times people think that, and they also think that about, like the National Register, because this property that I was speaking about that was illegally demolished, it was on the National Register, and a lot of people think the National Register will protect buildings, and it doesn't. Those are probably the two like biggest misconceptions that I run into, beyond the people who are just nervous that if we get involved, we're going to make things really hard and not allow any progress, and that's not what we do. We want to try to create win-win situations. So
obviously you don't need to share details on that particular one, but I'm just curious. So like the property owner knew that it was on the National Registry and just wanted to do something else with that space, had the building demolished, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, somebody found out that this is
No,
on
so
the register of
yeah,
buildings.
it was a developer from outside of the area,
Yeah.
and they bought the property, and they it was about halfway demolished by the time I got there. The roof was off, the second floor was exposed, and they, you know, the town, the municipality did make them put a stop to it, and, you know, come up with a better plan than what they were doing, rather than everything just going into the landfill. But
Yeah.
that was the you know, but they look to us for guidance, which we are happy to, you know, provide, you know, our opinion, but we don't have, you know, it's not like we can come in and we're the preservation police.
Right. So a couple follow-up questions to that. What's that called again? The National Registry of
Yeah, there's a National Registry of Historic Places.
Historic Places. And what does a building need to be or do to be on that list? Like, how does one determine?
There are 4 criteria. So it has to be at least 50 years old. There are a couple exceptions to that, but that's typically at least 50 years old. Associated with like a person, like a historic event or a person.
Okay.
Associated with like a specific building type, like if it's a good example of like a certain building type or something like that. And then the 4th that I don't use very much is related to archaeology.
Okay.
But those things can get a listing on the National Register. And like in Lancaster County, we do have certain neighborhoods that are like an entire historic district, and those are usually also National Register listed, but they're like a whole. It's not an individual building.
Gotcha.
But sorry.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that that is a great certification to have, and it does help with some things like with the building code and some other things, but it doesn't protect the building.
So yeah, I guess a property owner can do whatever they want with the property. You're there kind of educating, like when you find out that, you know, a building is in that state of potential renovation or renovation demolishment or demolishing, you're there to educate the property owner that, hey, this is why this property is listed on the National Registry of Historic Buildings. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to try to find a solution that will
Yep. How many, I mean, maybe you don't know, but how many properties or items are on the National Registry in Lancaster, maybe city or county?
I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I believe in Lancaster.
We might have lost. She's frozen. Danielle, are you there? Oh, I don't know if she's lost her connection. She'll pop back in hopefully soon. I wanted to know. I wanted to know how many buildings were part of the National Registry. You know, that's really cool. Like, you always hear about, you know, farmland preservation, and there's big efforts within the Lancaster community to preserve the farmland. You know, we all know that farmland gets sold for lots of money and gets turned into developments and housing and retail, and, you know, like I said earlier in the program, growth, and you know, there needs to be a good support system for the people in the county so that, you know, enough retail and all of that. But there's such beautiful farmland throughout the county that needs to be preserved, and the same for buildings. And you can just tell, like driving through Lancaster County or Lancaster City, there's beautiful buildings that have been redone, and I'm sure there's hundreds more that need to be or could be renovated to be, you know, kind of back to their historical form. So it's cool that an organization like the Historical Preservation Trust of Lancaster exists, and we're, you know, thankful as Lancaster Countyans that Danielle is so passionate about preserving buildings, both her business and her time spent as the executive director of the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster. It's cool that things are being preserved, both buildings and farmland. Well, if Danielle is able to come back on, that would be great. Let me see. Trying to get her back on here. So if she's able to come back on, we'll resume our interview there. I'll just do a couple of things here. We talked about the contest. Lancaster Gift Box is our sponsor here for the month of December. LancasterGiftBox.com is where you can learn more information about them. But Lancaster Gift Box, they help clients develop thriving business relationships that boost retention, and they can help you with custom gifting solutions, that are easy to order. So, again, if you're a business or an organization and have some gifting to do, some corporate gifting, Lancaster Gift Box is a great resource there. And like I said at the top of the program, visit their shop on the 300 block of North Queen Street in downtown Lancaster. They're doing a lot of cool things in their community in downtown. But last minute gifting, shopping for those hard to buy for people on your Christmas list, right there. That's where you can do it. Definitely give them a visit, LancasterGiftBox.com, and in their retail store, 317 North Queen Street there. And don't forget, LancasterConnects.com/contest is where you can enter to win a taste of Lancaster Gift Box from Lancaster Gift Box. All you have to do is subscribe to our email list. You get on the Lancaster Connects email list and stay connected, no pun intended, to everything that we do here at Lancaster Connects. You'll get advanced listing of contests that we run. You'll hear about our shows before they happen. That sort of thing if you're on our email list. So we got that. Thank you, Chris, for bringing that up on the screen. I wanted to mention we'd love to have you subscribe to the podcast. There's multiple ways that you can do that. All the major podcast players, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, search Lancaster Connects in the search bars there within those programs. Give us a subscribe. Easy to do. Just click the button. Same thing on YouTube. Both Lancaster Connects and Gardener's Mattress and More YouTube pages. We're streaming live on there. You can subscribe to the podcast on search Lancaster Connects on YouTube. Same thing with Facebook. We're on the Gardener's Mattress and More and Lancaster Connects Facebook pages. And we'd love to have your love on those channels as well. This is episode 123, which is crazy. We've got one more episode yet in 2023. And again, it's kind of crazy to say that 2024 is right around the corner. We're a few weeks away, and we've got a really great show lined up 3 weeks from now on the 1st of January. In fact, I think I just got a note from our guest. Let's check this out. Our guest is getting a different computer, so apparently she's having trouble with the computer she's on. She just called in, and hopefully we'll get her back on soon, and we can wrap up talking with her about the Preservation Trust of Lancaster. And we got to do the connection cocktail with her, so it's an opportunity for us to get to know Danielle a little bit better. But thanks for watching this episode. Thanks for tuning in. I see Acorn Acres, super fan of Lancaster Connects. I know that they've made a bunch of connections watching the show, and that's what we're all about. Highlight, like I said at the beginning, great people doing great things in Lancaster County, whether that's small business or an organization or a nonprofit or charitable organization. We've kind of got a blend of that with today's guest being both a business owner who does preservation of buildings and being executive director of the Preservation Trust of Lancaster. But yeah, making connections is what it's all about. So thank you to those of you who tune in, whether that's live on Mondays at 2:00 every Monday. The only Mondays typically we're not live are holidays, so we are taking a break. I think Christmas Christmas is a Monday, so no show that day, and some other holidays we don't broadcast. But if you miss an episode, you can watch it on LancasterConnects.com. Just search that up in your browser, and at the top of the page you'll see an episodes button. You can click that. You'll see all 122 past episodes on there, and on the homepage you'll see future episode coming up. Usually we post that a number of days before, so you can see who's coming up on the next show. And there's the episode page there. Chris has that up there, and there's a number of other links at the top of the page on Lancaster Connects to the contest. We had Brett Michaels on the show for our 100th episode back in June. That was pretty cool. If you think you'd like to be on the podcast, if you are, again, a great person doing great things in Lancaster, or you have a business or a nonprofit you'd like to give a shout out to or highlight on the show, we'd love to have you on. At the top of the page, you'll see be a guest as an option. Just click that, fill out a quick form, and we'll have you on. And of course, if you'd like to learn more about Gardner's Mattress and more, and what Jeff and I do here at Gardner's, there's a link to that as well. Of course, you can just search up Gardner's Mattress and more in your search bar in your browser and learn more about us there. I do have a Sleep Better tip. Sleep Better book. We wrote the book. Helpful sleep tips and information. This goes beyond mattresses. Obviously, a new mattress can improve your sleep, or the right mattress can improve your sleep, but there's a lot of things you can do to your sleep or your sleep environment or your sleep routine that will positively impact your sleep. So one of the things I'm going to read here is about increased risk of suppressed immune function. And that, of course, would be due to lack of sleep. So our immune system is part of our first line of defense and critically essential for survival. It's our built-in guardian, protecting us from harmful pathogens like bacteria, fungi, viruses, parasites, and damaging substances that harm and damage our body. Poor sleep can seriously compromise our immune system to the point of allowing serious pathogens and or substances to do damage to our body. Instead of being knocked out by our defense systems, the pathogens can potentially slip by and begin to take up residence, which can lead to some very serious illnesses and diseases. So we all know that sleep is important, but a lot of times when you consider sleep, you're only thinking about it in the present. You're either looking forward to going to sleep because you had a long day, or you're waking up in the morning and either you feel rested or you don't feel rested. Those are the thought processes we generally go through about sleep. When you're going to go to bed, and you have to get up in the morning, and whether that's go to school or get the kids ready, or whatever you're doing that particular day, how you wake up affects the rest of your day. But that again is only like the present. This is really speaking to poor sleep accumulated over time really can have a negative effect on your body and the things that can happen to your body. So conversely, good sleep helps to prevent those things. So this book helps, a lot of good, helpful sleep tips and information. We wrote it. We can give you a free copy. All you got to do is go to gardnersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better, or just go to gardnersmattressandmore.com. You'll see, scroll down, you'll see it right there in the middle of the page. Enter your name and address, and we'll mail you your very own copy of the book for free. So helpful sleep tips and information so you can sleep better, as the book says. Testimonial time. I think Danielle is coming back on, so we hope we can wrap up the interview with her. But we had an interview come in a few weeks ago from a customer of ours named Terry. And Terry did some research about Gardner's before going to buy a new mattress. I was not disappointed with my experience. The salesman was friendly, knowledgeable, and I didn't feel any pressure. I highly recommend Gardner's to anyone looking to invest in a new mattress. Thank you so much. So I try to share testimonials or reviews that have always have it like a different twist to them. And the thing I thought was interesting about this one is nowadays, as a consumer, we do research. You research by reading reviews, talking to people, going online. I mean, you can, if you're going to do business with anybody, you can learn as much as you want about that business. You could literally spend an entire day researching about a business, and you can learn everything. I mean, you contrast that with, 10, 20, 30 years ago. If you were shopping for a mattress, yeah, maybe you would talk to people, but you couldn't find anything out. Like, there were no websites. Maybe you'd learn about somebody in an advertisement, and you'd see, like a mattress ad, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go there. So like nowadays, your online reputation as a business is so important, and we're so thankful that we've got great customers and great staff that that allow customers to leave great reviews, so that future customers and people interested in waking up happy every morning have the opportunity to learn what their experience might look like here at Gardeners. And of course, then we have to follow through as a business. We have to make sure that our experience that we provide to every single customer, like Jeff likes to say, we're re-earning that favorite mattress store moniker that we've earned, from our customers for the last 4 years. We're re-earning that every time we open the door at 10 a.m. every morning, every day. We have to re-earn that. So, so that I thought that was really cool. Like, they did research on Gardeners. They knew they needed a mattress. Obviously, they found us. How they found us, I don't know, but they found us and they did research on us. So, they came, and then they had an expectation of what that service was going to be, and our guys delivered. So, thank you to our guys here, Drew, Chad, and Phil. They do a fantastic job with our customers, and we've got, we're blessed with some great customers that leave some great reviews and say some really nice things about our business. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like, these days, somebody can learn everything they want, as much as they want to know about your business. They can know about it before they step foot in your door. And, it's different now than it was even just 10 years ago. So hopefully Danielle is working her way back on. We've got maybe 15 or so minutes. We can kind of wrap up about the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster, and of course her own business, Keperling Preservation Services. And then we've got our connection cocktail we can kind of wrap up with. Just a few things we can talk about before until she can come back on here. Obviously end of year is happening now. We got like 3 weeks left of the year. We've got at Gardeners, we have some time sensitive sale events. The joke in the industry is like, is there ever a time when mattresses aren't on sale? Right? But people that know us know we don't play games with our mattresses. We're not like most stores that mark up a bed 50, or double and say it's 50% off every day. Like, that's not, we don't play those games with our customers. But from time to time we do have some time sensitive promotions put forth by our vendors, like, for example, Tempur-Pedic. Every once in a while, maybe Labor Day, President's Day, they might have a savings event of, you can save $200 or $300, and that's savings that we can pass along from the vendor directly to our customers. Of course, we have our double deals here at Gardeners, which is our way of putting together the package of products that work best for your needs and financial situation. So, for example, we can offer interest-free financing. We can offer interest-free financing every day of the year, but we also have some times where we can offer some long-term, even longer-term interest-free financing. So some people really appreciate that. Some people are investing in an adjustable bed. Some people are, don't want that, but maybe they need a box spring. Maybe they don't need a box spring. Maybe they need a bed frame and mattress protector and pillows. So we have ways that we can structure a deal for your mattress investment, and we call that double deal. So that's one way that we can help here at Gardeners. So we always have that going on. But we do have, Jeff and I are heading to the World Furniture Market in Las Vegas at the end of January. And there's hundreds of vendors. I mean, you think you have a lot of choices of where you can buy a mattress in Lancaster County. There's a lot. We have double and triple and probably quadruple that of vendors that we could possibly buy from in the world. So we will be looking at some new products, potentially bringing in some new brands. We don't change over stuff real often here. We really curate our products to try to have the best of the best that we can, that are both, great products, great materials inside the beds, but really a great value to our consumers. And we always try to have products that are unique and you're not going to see anywhere else. And really a good, probably 2/3 of the showroom have beds that you're not going to find anywhere else in the county. Two of them being right here behind me. I can't point the right direction, but like those beds, you're not going to find those on any showroom floor in Lancaster County. And I would say 2/3 or so of the mattresses here at Gardner's Mattress and More are unique beds. So we're always on the lookout for new technology. Things are changing and improving all the time. So that's what Jeff and I will be doing at the end of January. In preparation for that, we need to clear out some existing floor models. So from time to time, obviously, people are going to lay down on beds. They're not going to stay clean. It's just what happens to floor model beds. So, every year or two, we're refreshing our showroom models. So that might mean, blowing out, let's say if this model here behind us, we weren't going to carry anymore, or it just needed a refresh, we would blow it out sometimes 30, 35, 50% off of the normal everyday low sale price. We would blow it out because it's a floor model. It might not be in perfect shape. So we do have probably about 10 or so beds in our showroom, of about 70 or so beds. So a good chunk of the showroom, there's some really, really good deals, closeout deals to take the floor model, get it out of here. So great sleep on a great bed at a nice discounted price. So that would be a way to save some money and get a great night's sleep. So we've got those beds, and those are kind of one of a kind. When they sell, they're gone. So for example, I know right now we've got a Tempur-Pedic mattress right in the front of the showroom that normally is probably $4+ grand. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I think we've got it on sale for $1,500. It's like super, super, super deal. Again, it's a model that's been refreshed. It's not part of the regular lineup anymore, and we need to get rid of it. So some really, really great deals, kind of year-end deals here. So yeah, thank you for commenting there. Acorn Acres, of course, if you're not connecting the dots, at the beginning of the show, in the intro, Acorn Acres is the woodchuck, the groundhog, the whistle pig. There's any number of ways to call a groundhog. I only knew it as groundhog until we had Acorn Acres on the show. I don't know if that was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Time flies. But we actually had the groundhog on, who was on the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray 2+ years ago. So there they are. There's their website, Acorn Acres there, saving the squirrels and the groundhogs and the whistle pigs. There they are. It's so cool. I know Poppy is no longer with us, so that's sad. But I think Poppy has, I don't remember if it was a brother or a friend. There's a new Poppy in town, I guess you could say. So, but yeah, Poppy is the one from the intro. So that always makes me smile seeing Poppy there. And Poppy actually made a visit to Gardner's one time. Jeff and I weren't here, but the guys got to meet brother. There it is, Brother Elliot. Betsy just commented there. So there we go. All right. Well, I don't know if Danielle is going to be able to come on here or not. I do want to say, we just actually, while I'm sitting here, my phone buzzed. I looked over. We got a review just now while I'm sitting here on Google. And I believe this gentleman was in this morning. I saw a ticket for 2 pillows. And usually what that means, we get people coming in and buying, a pillow and sheets and mattress protectors, often, because obviously those are items that we sell that are essential to the sleep experience. So you need a mattress, you need sheets, you need a pillow, you need a mattress protector. But often a couple pillow purchase before Christmas, like a week or two before Christmas, those are usually gifts. So Noah just, simple review, came here on Google, says 12 minutes ago, went in looking for a pillow, and they were very helpful. So thank you, Noah. And I don't work with them. I'm not sure specifically, but my guess is at least one of those pillows was for a family member for Christmas. So we see that often. Pillows and sheets make great gifts. Actually, you know what? We also have gift cards. Gift cards to Gardener's Mattress and More. Any denomination from $50 on up, we can do. You can purchase them on our website. We have a gift card page. You can also come in and purchase a gift card. So, gift card would be great. Like, obviously we have a bunch of pillows and a bunch of sheets and colors and stuff like that. So maybe you don't want to make the wrong purchase for a Christmas gift, but you want to get a family member a pillow or a set of sheets. Or we've had, let's say grandparents want to buy their granddaughter or grandson a mattress, and they want to put $500 towards it. Well, obviously they themselves aren't going to come shop for a mattress, but they want to provide the money for the mattress. So a gift card makes a great Christmas gift, and we can do that here at Gardeners. We have nice plastic, normal gift cards. Actually, normal gift cards, something you can put in a nice envelope and give it out as a Christmas gift. So, we can do that here. If you have any questions about gift cards or want that link, we can send it to you. Just reach out to us. Well, unfortunately, I don't know that we're going to be able to get Danielle back on, and we're kind of coming up towards the top of the hour here. So maybe we can have Danielle on the show again. There were other things that I wanted to talk about related to the Historic Preservation Trust, and of course also talk a little bit about how people can get involved, which is really something we like to try to do here with Lancaster Connects. One of the reasons we named the show Lancaster Connects is how can we connect the community to organizations. So whether that's an organization that needs help with volunteering and donations, and helping with their events. Chris has their website up there. You see a number of different things there. Get involved. Look at all the options there, 6 or 7 different options, how you can support, how you can volunteer. Looks like some great volunteer opportunities there. And all you have to do is fill out that form, and they can direct you to how you can help them. Obviously, donate. You can be a sponsor. You can be a member of the trust. So organizations just don't pop out of the woodwork and are able to do the things they do just like this. They need money, they need funding, they need volunteers, they need help. And obviously, Danielle being executive director, they need people to be on the board, people that have a passion, the same kind of passion that Danielle has for preserving businesses or preserving buildings in Lancaster County. So there's a world of opportunity. Every organization, especially nonprofits and charitable organizations, need our help. And it is one of the reasons why we started Lancaster Connects. Sometimes people ask us, why does a mattress store have a podcast? Well, if you watch, it's not about mattresses. Yeah, I talked about the Sleep Better book. I talked about mattresses very, very briefly. Most of that is because, Gardener's Mattress and More helps produce the show, and we got to pay the bills, right? But this show was really about connecting the community to each other, and whether that's businesses to each other, as Acorn Acres has mentioned in the past, they've been connected to businesses that they hadn't known before seeing them on Lancaster Connects, or obviously connecting the community to great organizations. We hear it really all the time. People email us, people mention it in the comments, that they never knew that this or that existed. So it is really cool to be able to connect the community like that. So hopefully we can bring Danielle back on. I'm sorry she wasn't able to reconnect and have her back on here, but we do have a stop here at the top of the hour. So Danielle, if you're still watching, we'd love to have you back on, and we can find another time for you to be on, so we can learn more about the Preservation Trust and the cool things that you're doing there. Well, I think that's the show. If you want to see this and past episodes, go to LancasterConnects.com. Remember to enter our contest, LancasterConnects.com/contest. Enter the contest. All you got to do is name an email, subscribe to our email list, and there's other ways that you can enter as well. And again, thanks to our December sponsor of Lancaster Connects, Lancaster Gift Box. If you need some last-minute gift ideas, visit their shop on the 300 block of Queen Street, North Queen Street, and find some great gifts to give to some hard to buy for people on your list. So again, thank you to Lancaster Gift Box for donating that gift and being our sponsor in December. I think that's the show. We've got one more episode here in 2023. Got a great guest next week. Who is it? You're going to have to watch and find out. Till the next connection.